And with that, we are off to the races here on this round one Zelda Randomizer Seed. As we can see, the first room as we get on the start screen is going to be a money seed, and it is going to be 38 rupees. Now we also are going to have a candle shop here, and 46. That's an extremely, extremely cheap candle. Now, Mike Stone opting to take a little bit of an interesting route here, opting to buy some bombs instead of a candle, which gets him the ability to bomb again and get more bombs. So, quite an interesting choice to do that there.
We did also find a level on drjasonkimball's side. Immediately looks like 8.
That's what it feels like to me. And both runners currently in this level, which, as we did mention, does have a look and a feel of level 8, and Wizroves abound and are, definitely having their way with both runners so far. Now this is interesting, DJK attempting to block clip without the use of any sort of secondary buffer ability, whether it be a candle, a bomb, or a sword.
Finally gives up and exits to continue, as does Mike Stone.
Now both of them are going to go into the cave that is directly north of level 3, and they're going to get told to keep the change, you filthy animal, and we're going to find the large secret, which is 114 rupees. Now, that is a huge thing to find, not only because it's going to give both of them access to the cheap candle, which we saw is only 41 rupees, but it's also going to give them, just a huge boost in money as it is. So if I'm both of these runners, well, I was going to say go back to start and buy the candle, but, we're going to just find it here right below the Armo statue, so we don't have to worry about that. Meanwhile, DJK opting to go back in again. I think he's going to be picking up some bombs here, which is definitely the correct choice. And look at these Lionels guarding the Armo statue. He's going to have to be very careful here. Mike tapping 1 Armos, 2 Armos, and we are going to find that it's a stairway. But before Mike can get into it, he's going to get sniped. And DJK, meanwhile, also getting all kinds of trouble, but he is going to manage to find his way into the staircase, where we're just going to find that it is some hints. So now we are going to take care of our bombing around start, and this is insanely crazy because it literally looks like we're watching the same thing frame by frame on that screen. But now we are just going to see the paths diverge because Mike has already bombed down where DJK is. So he's going to be taking his way up, and I believe it looks like Mike is going to be screen scrolling back to the Armo side of things so he can figure out the staircase that he missed, which we know is just a hints guide.
Now we may see Mike pick these up because they are relatively inexpensive. He can actually afford all 3. Depends what he wants to do with his money.
The only thing about picking all 3 of these up is getting in and out quickly because of the Lionels and stuff around, so he still has to be wary of not getting sniped. So the first one we have is a community hint.
Luckily, the respawn is right above that Armos, so he doesn't have to worry too much. Decides not for the 3rd, so we'll be up paying and probably heading over towards Lost Woods now.
Yep, definitely. And both of them having a little bit of hiccups here with the screen scrolling portion of things. Now, I know that it's not going to be a huge deal with this because we've already explored this cave by the river, but missing screen scrolls was a huge factor in a race last night where we had a racer try and screen scroll, try and screen scroll, try and screen scroll, miss it, then go all the way around and forget to come check this cave, which happened to contain the wood sword. Meanwhile, we are getting the door repair message, which is just not your day, is it? Which is always a thing when, you're not getting rupees and getting them taken away from you.
Now, so far as rupee count goes, we do know the large and the medium secrets are north of their normal values, and we just learned that the door repair is only 19, so it's just a rupee south, while Kimball finds the letter. So they should be decent on rupees throughout the entire seed.
Absolutely. And speaking of rupees, we find another one of the free secrets, and this is going to be the final one. This is going to be the 10 rupee secret, and this is only 5, so we're getting a little bit shortchanged on that one, but I'll take 5 rupees on that secret for 114 on the big one. How about you?
Yeah, yeah. The exchange is much better.
And that hint right there, meet the merchant along the coast, tells us that that's where the magical sword is going to be.
Now, the coast does normally consist of, or it always consists of, the 3 bombable spots along the bottom, the coast shop, the raft spot, as well as most of the northeast area.
Yep, so now we're going to take a look here and burn this bush at what we like to refer to as the World Wrap transition screen, or the Lost Woods transition screen, because this is what's going to allow us to wrap through the Lost Woods at some point. However, I was going to say it looks like we were about to be bait blocked, but nope, it's just the black room. So unfortunately, we have a bunch of keys in here. Definitely looks like a 4. So they're going to be going in and out to try and burn as many keys as they can with the candle. But unfortunately, because it's only a blue candle, we can only get 1 flame per entrance. Mike getting a little bit lucky there with the keys deciding it wanted to fly into his fire. Now he sees that this is an NSU room with some style posts, and he's like, yeah, nope, I'm noping the heck out of here. Meanwhile, DJK opting to do the same thing, noping the heck on up out of here.
Which would have been their ultimate decision anyway, because that NSU room does not have a drop in it, so there would have been no way they could have progressed without a key anyway.
So both of them opting to screen scroll past the Lost Woods to make their way over to the grave section. Now, the spot you see Mike Stone about to check here, this is the location in Vanilla Zelda where the magical sword is usually hiding. And however, hiding here tonight is going to be a dungeon. So we're going to enter and see if there's an entrance on the top there. And unfortunately, there is not. So being key blocked out of here, we will have to, well, not quite have to, because we can still check to the left. I did forget about that. I always ignoring bombing to the left there, but okay, now it can confirm we are key blocked in this dungeon to the right. So now we're going to be moving on.
And with that key block, it starts to feel more and more like level 1. Now it could still be possibly 6 or 7, in which it's a required staircase, but it does feel a little bit like level 1.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are finding another door repair charge here in Vanilla 6. Now, the one good thing about them going around here is they do have the bombs that they have purchased to be able to blow some holes in walls here. And speaking of purchases, we have found a blue ring bait and arrow shop. And $242 for the blue ring. Not a bad price, honestly.
No, anytime it's south of 250, you're always a little happy to see it.
Look at that, we have found our Armos item, which is the heart container.
Now, early on, as an Armos item, that's not a bad find, just because it does get you a little bit closer to that white sword, but definitely not an item that you would desire to see under the Armos. While Kimball actually finds well, both runners actually find take any one you want, so they're both up to 5 hearts, 66% chance now getting the white sword if they find it.
Yeah, at this point, this is where we see our 2 roads diverging, because you see Mike Stone is opting to explore Depth Mountain. Meanwhile, DJK is opting to take his candle and money and begin to conflagrate around Start, which means he's probably going to be making his way to either the coast or Candle Row, depending on which direction he heads out of here. We find a money-making game, which is trolling us with the message of, you entered the wrong seed, buddy. Both of them getting that at the same time. So even though the paths have diverged in a wood, we are still getting the same messages. Now, this is a very interesting and quote-unquote risky series of plays here by Mike Stone, opting to go in and try and bomb Death Mountain. So now that he's out of bombs, is this something he's still going to continue to explore, or he's going to, yep, he is going to choose to up an A with not all of Death Mountain taken care of. So he is now going to be starting his burning of the areas around Start, while DJK is going to continue his burning of Candle Row, and then more than likely make his way up to the northeast, which is the next section with a lot of open caves.
Now, Jason did find a blue ring shop much closer to Start. With the large secrets, we still might see blue ring in play, even though Jason only seems to be collecting the small ones.
Yep, he has found 3 of the 4 or 5 rupee secrets. And he keeps finding the door repairs as well. So small rupee secrets plus door repairs does not equal a good amount of rupees to acquire the blue ring. However, he is going to acquire his 6th heart container here, which is going to guarantee his acquisition of the white sword when and if we do come across its hiding place.
Does get a bomb drop off that blue Octorok with the fire, so in a little bit better shape for bombs. We'll be heading towards the forest to do some burning as well, and check that open cave near the desert.
Open cave near the desert turns out to be just a old man. He's waiting for you to show him a piece of paper saying you are a certified drinker, so he can sell you beverages. Now, of course, in the high roll section of things, the only beverages you're allowed to sell are the blue and red potions. Now we see DJK opting to go down into the forest to continue his path of destruction and finding all 4 of the small secrets now. So at least now he knows when he finds rupee secrets, he's going to be getting at least a decent amount of rupees from them and not just these piddly little 5 rupees that he's been getting. So this is the 3rd blue ring shop that we've seen. So now basically we can confirm that, no, the blue ring shop is not the rare shop. And look at that, there is the white sword. Apparently in this seed, because of the message we're being given here, is going to be having the nickname of the Cananophone here, because it told us to pick up the Cananophone, and we picked up the white sword. So I'm going to guess the white sword's not a Cananophone, at least for this race.
Sounds good to me. So now, ironically, with the discovery of the white sword there for Dr. Jason Kimball, and then soon for MikeStone whenever he makes it over there, the one cave they will not want to find is actually now the Wood Sword Cave, because it is useless to both runners. And another heart for DJK as well.
So that is 3 of the 5, technically 4 of the 5 overworld hearts, because one of them was, of course, the Armos item. And now we've also found level 9. On the coast is an entrance to death.
Good find for DJK there. Originally, I thought he was trying to screen scroll and was going to skip that bomb spot, which could have been kind of odd, but ends up bombing and finding an important dungeon nonetheless.
Yeah, always good to find the place where you have to go to rescue the damsel in distress. But now, hey look, we found the Wood Sword Cave on the coast, so apparently all the weaponry is going to be on the coast today. And now the biggest reveal, what is the coast item? It is in fact the wand! So an early ladder will mean a wand, and so wand's always a good thing to have, but knowing it's there means it's not necessary. Meanwhile, those P-hats not playing nicely with Mike Stone over there, opting to turn him into a link sandwich by all 4 converging on one spot and not letting him escape.
Now, it is important to note with what Greenleaf was saying regarding the one for an early ladder find, if there's a later ladder find, we may see the runners just abandon the one altogether. Usually later, especially once runners know where they're at item-wise and everything else, they may just choose not to revisit that screen.
Yep, and now we are making our way to find the second large secret of the game, at least on both sides here, the 114. Meanwhile, Mike getting sniped by an Armos, attempting to go down the stairs 2 screens east and 1 south of 2. So that's going to definitely set him back a little bit, because he still needs to go back to the forest and acquire the white sword, or acquire the wood sword, which we know is by the coast. So he still needs a sharp, pointy object. Now, speaking of things at level 2, we do have a level here. Excuse me. I'm not sure which one, because it's just a giant blue room. So let's take a look around, shall we? Well, what do you know? Look at that. We're in 2 in 2.
With
Fred,
its normal
this
palette.
isn't random enough. This isn't random enough. However, it doesn't contain its normal enemy set. So we got to give it a little bit. Honestly, I think this is the 3rd race in a row that I've called where level 2 has had the Wizrobe enemy set.
Yes, Wizrobes do like finding their way into 2 in Randomizer. DJK did find the heart there, so good early find for that.
I mean, technically, if you think about it, it makes sense, because aren't a lot of magical rituals powered by the light of the moon? I mean, when was the last time you saw an evil ritual being performed in the middle of the day? No, it's always by full moonlight. So it would make sense that the magical beings would, flock to the moon. Meanwhile, we have over in level 2, DJK getting himself sniped in there. So he's going to be hitting the restart button and making his way downtown again. Meanwhile, we have Mike Stone on the coast, who he is going to now find the entrance to death here as well, because we know that is where level 9 is located.
So DJK giving the room another go to find out what the drop will be, which it is, and he picks up the inferior model. Yes, the inferior model, TGE.
Whoa, hold on. I was letting you talk there because you were in the middle of something, but I just want to point out that I did call it at the very beginning that I was on Team DJK because Mike Stone was going to bomb the boomerang. We have found a boomerang. We have got a pickup of Lord Banana in a game I'm calling, so I need a minute, guys.
Well, TGE cries, possibly a pickup just to help stunlock enemies. If he does easily come across the magic boomerang later, he may even pick that up. Does run into a Gleeok in a close 4 room, which does contain a drop, so he may end up having to go back there, but we'll see momentarily, I believe.
All right, so meanwhile, we have Mike going back into the level which we assumed was 8 earlier, and still getting all kinds of wrecked by Wizrobes. Speaking of getting wrecked by Wizrobes, you have DJK over in 2 attempting to use sneaky bomb strats to take out the Wizrobes here in this fireball, 4 corners fireball room. I don't necessarily disagree with it, but I don't necessarily agree with it either. It's one of those things of, you're here, you might as well try, but
With the Lyclakes in that room, the master enemy is the Lyclake, so if he would keep exiting and re-entering, he would eventually dwindle it down to a single Lyclake. But trying for that blue Wizrobe kill.
Mike Stone, meanwhile, realizing that he is in way over his head and opts to nope the heck out of this dungeon. Meanwhile, still over in 2, we have DJK opting to attempt to do the dance of the pancake fairies and dance his way around the fireballs, the bubble, to get to the pancake to hopefully kill them and hopefully be rewarded by a Triforce drop in this room.
All that work for a key and then to get sniped by the statue there, so going back in, still searching for that Triforce.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, he still has several rooms on the left-hand side of the moon he has to explore.
MikeStone back and forth trying to clear out that NFG room, which he will find does not have a drop, so once he does that, he will just go ahead and re-exit the level.
Meanwhile, DJK over in 2 is getting himself a parade of pancakes here. Good thing about just having a room full of like-likes, though, is that they are a whole lot easier to kill than a room full of Wizrobes. And look at that, the Triforce standing out in the open in the last room he chooses to explore. And literally that is the last room to make a full clear of level 2. So that's going to be our first Triforce of the match, and it's going to go to Dr. Jason Kimball.
MikeStone heading back up towards the grave, see possibly what is there. We'll probably bypass the grave itself because he knows that's key blocked, so probably just trying to finish his bombing of Death Mountain itself.
Now, DJK opting to keep his bomb right now because he could have definitely bombed the the wall there on that screen previous. Now he's going to opt to go take a look here at the northeast corner. I'm going to first take a look at where the letter is located in vanilla and see what we can find here. Meanwhile, over on Mike Stone's side of things, taking a bomb. And, ooh, we found the magical sword over on DJK's side, and this, in fact, is a coast spot. Even though it doesn't feel like it should be one, it is a coast spot.
Just a medium secret at the area that I'm now going to dub the Forgotten Peninsula or Forgotten Area, because many runners do choose to check that last. Some even skip over it, which was the case in one of our races. So he does clear that out, making sure that he does not have to revisit that area.
Yep, I have seen several people forget to do that when there were very important things around there, like levels. Meanwhile, DJK using his bombs wisely and getting a count up to 10 to force a bomb with his last one, and doing it in style by utilizing the one and the only Lord Banana.
And this comes across the Any Road.
Yep, now this is interesting on the Any Roads because as you can see, this Any Road is in a power bracelet spot, which he doesn't have the power bracelet. How can he get back in? Well, same way you get into a diamond staircase in a room full of darkness. You block clip.
Now the thing with this block clip is, it's, as he found out, it is a lot further down on the boulder than it would be on a block. So it took him a few tries, but he did figure that out.
Now that third location on the Taking Road is nice to know, because we now know that the only reason recorder would be needed would be to get by a dig dogger in an item room, and that we are not looking to get the recorder to find a dungeon. So that is good to see. Also nice to see that you have a quick path up to Death Mountain, well, relatively quick anyway, through an Any Road. Now, both runners again up here exploring the Death Mountain area. Mike Stone opting to kill a bunch of orange moblins before he enters in this cave that he bombed, and he's going to find a cheap meat shop. $49 for meat is a very, very good price, especially in a randomizer when you don't know if bait is going to be required or not.
Now, between both runners, we do know that there are no levels up in Death Mountain because between the two of them, have cleared it out entirely.
So now we are making our way, at least on Mike Stone's side, we're hitting a little bit of troubles with screen scrolling here. And it's always better to screen scroll through a screen with Lionels and key hats than it is to walk through, because as you walk out in the open, you are more apt to be sniped by beam swords, and Lionels are wont to do that. Their favorite dish on the menu is, of course, deep-fried Link. Meanwhile, DJK opting to up an A out of Death Mountain after he realized there's nothing for me here. So he is now going to be continuing along the path to find dungeons. And at this point, with the amount of keys that he has, after he picks up these bombs here in the shop, and I'm guessing on that, I'm going to assume that he's probably going to go back to the level 8 that's right near here.
Would be a good guess. See how he fares against the Wizrobes this time around, since, you know, they love to be in a bunch of dungeons, it seems, on this seed.
Yeah, well, we can guarantee we're going to see Wizrobes in at least 3 dungeons, because they're still guaranteed to always be in 9, and we've seen them in both 2 and 8.
We could see them in a potential 2 additional dungeons yet. They can appear into 4 outside of 9, so early staircase, which prevents him from having to burn a key or kill the Wizrobes.
However, he appears and gets immediately sniped. And after that little incident in the corridor stair room, DJK's like, nope, 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 I'm out of here, nope, nope, nope.
Now, because both runners are having difficulties with 8 and choosing to return at a later time, that means that we will find Bladder in 8.
Oh, of course. Now, because he does have keys, though, that does make it a little bit easier for DJK to head back to the grave and go to the dungeon that's underneath the gravestone. Or he can go here back into 4 because he has keys as well. Either one is an option.
We'll probably actually hit 4 and then sweep around to go up to what we believe is 1.
Yep, but as we mentioned, the big advantage that DJK has here is, in fact, he is coming into 4 with keys, and I love the fact that he's putting Lord Banana to more use here. It warms my little cold TGE heart to see that. Now, as we mentioned earlier, level 4 only has 2 rooms with drops in it that aren't going to be out in the open. This is one of them because that is the room that is normally associated with the boss of the dungeon, Gleeok. And speaking of being out in the open, there's the Triforce right next door. So technically, you still have to beat the Gleeok room to get the Triforce. That's kind of like being in the same location, right?
Except the Gleeok room was a lot easier this time around.
True. Now, it looks like DJK is going to opt to not go back into 4 to pick up the item. It looks like he's setting up for a screen scroll here to go into the graveyard area to go back to what we believe is level 1.
Now, looking at his tracker, he may know it is level 4, but his tracker does not because of the way it works. So he may have believed that might be level 7 and is just choosing not to explore it further, even though with the Gleeok room, he should know it is level 4.
Yep, and now his tracker trying to figure out what we are at here, and his tracker has confirmed that it is level 1. And this is obviously the first time I've seen the tracker in full action. That is insane.
Indeed, it is. And as I said, it is all based off of visual cues, based off of where his video of the game is positioned on his screen. So does not access any information from the ROM itself. It's all just a visual thing. Chooses to not grab the bomb upgrade as well.
I mean, it's not a bad idea to see what's going on here. You can utilize your bombs first and then go get a refill. Meanwhile, over on Mike Stone's side of Hyrule, we have found another dungeon, and this one is located in the Armo statue in the Lost Hills area.
Now, based off of what we know from the other dungeons, this one appears to be level 5.
And we did find the Triforce over in 1 on DJK's side of things, but I'm going to opt to say nope, nope, nope. There are 2 items in here, and I want to find both of them.
And I was incorrect with my assumption of 5. It is indeed level 7.
Not a big deal. And we find another key there. So, of course, we know what's about to happen here because we are finding all of these keys here in level 1, and we have a fairly decent key total on DJK's side. One of the items in 1 is going to be the magic key. And speaking of items in 1, we have found the first room here, and this is the diamond staircase room. And entering it, we do find the red candle. So it looks like DJK is going to opt to pick it up, and yeah, we're still relatively early in this. We've only found a couple of dungeons, so having the option for basically machine gun fire, not a bad idea. I know a lot of runners would choose to not pick up the red candle, but you know, you're here, you might as well grab it.
It is also important to note that he has made a lot of use of the boomerang for attacking and everything, so he will probably make a lot of use out of that candle as well for an additional attack source.
Kind of like he's doing right now because he just got bubbled. Meanwhile, also putting the boomerang to good use, stun locking this blue Gorilla here, and killing everything but not getting a drop because that is not a an item dropping room. We have got a compass, so we're not going to need that because we know the location of the Triforce now. We now know the other item here is going to be in one of these 3 rooms, so unfortunately he is going to have to burn at least 1 key to get to the item. And it's the book. So he already picked up the inferior, as you put it, I can't even talk, the Lord Banana, so he's going to pick up the book as well to please both myself and Lizzie here tonight.
Note to everyone in chat that TDE did just indeed go to call it the inferior model.
Game's logic inferior because the game overrides it with the magical boomerang. It's already a quote in Zhao's bot that I referred to it that way the other night, so I can't get out of it. And oh, Lizzie. We are getting a hint for 8, but we knew that already, so it doesn't really matter that Gliok returns along the river.
Now, normally you would not get the... Or, never mind, he is in 7, and I'm just forgetting what I told you guys earlier, so... we did get the Triforce on DJK's side, while Mike Stone continues to hunt through 7.
Now, why is he going back in here? He already picked up the red candle and the book. What's he going back in here for? Oh, the bomb upgrade.
Correct.
That's right. We're only going to get 3 out of this bomb upgrade, but it's better than a sharp stick in the eye.
And we do see the bomb upgrade was only 3 bombs, so a little south of the normal amount, but any additional bombs is always welcomed.
Meanwhile, we have found some hints over at Monocle Rock, and Mike Stone opting to be like, nope, nope, you've already trolled me enough hints. I want absolutely zero to do with you.
MikeStone finding another cheap meat shop and choosing to have nothing to do with the meat yet, so...
Meanwhile, on the other side of the screen, DJK finding it another blue ring shop, so he definitely knows where they are if he wishes to acquire them. Now, Mike Stone's going to be all sorts of upset with himself because this is the screen that has the white sword hint on it. So he now knows he's right in the general area for where he needs to be, and that's the screen he died on earlier. Z-Man, no silver arrows are not forced to be in 9. Everything is shuffled. The only exceptions to that, of course, are any item that can be has to be utilized to destroy an enemy or can potentially lead to a location cannot be in 9. So basically, the items you see on the bottom of the tracker, minus the silver arrows, cannot be in 9. So that'd be the bow, the ladder, the wrist, the recorder, the whistle, whatever you want to call it, the power bracelet, and the raft. None of those can be in 9.
Now MikeStone heading up to Vanilla 2, which we also know is Randomizer 2 in this instance. So we'll see if he chooses to take on the Wizrobes or if he will come back at a later date.
Oh, first things first, though, we're going to take on the coin boss here. We've only seen 3 items so far. We've seen Red Candle, we've seen Book, and we've seen Lord Banana. We don't know the items in any of the other dungeons, so while it is very likely the silver arrows are in 9 in this seed.
We have also found the Coast Heart under the Armo statue.
Right, but we're talking about...
And one on the coast.
Yes, we're talking specifically about the items in dungeons. We have Ladder, Recorder, Power Bracelet, Raft, and Bow. Those are 5 items. We have 6 dungeon items left to find. So it is a high probability that, so I say six dungeon items in non-9 dungeons. So there's a high probability the silver arrows are in 9 at this point, but they still could not be. Meanwhile, over on Mike Stone's side of Hyrule again, we are killing these gel enemies here in 2 and making our way again throughout the moon. More gels over on Mike's side. He's just going to continue stabbing them with his pointy stick of doom. And does he do it? He's going to do it. He does decide to bomb the banana as he said he was going to do. So now we all firmly know where my allegiance lies with Team DJK because he did in fact pick up the Lord Banana himself. But Mike Stone did... him, so he did live up to what he said he was going to do, and I have to give him at least a little bit of credit for that. And yes, to answer the question being posed in chat, the 3 a.m. race is in fact it's an interesting time zone thing because we have a racer on the west coast of the United States and a racer in France. So 3 a.m. Eastern time was the best time to get them because that's midnight for West Coast and 9 a.m. for France.
We now have DJK checking the northeast, going up to the Vanilla Letter Cave, and realizing that he already checked it.
And finally finding the last shop here, which is the expensive shield shop. So we have now found all 4 shops. We now know the prices of everything. I shouldn't say it's the expensive shield shop, because both shields are really expensive in this scene. 140 and 150 if you're looking to get a magic shield. We know you're not going, well, I can't say we know for sure, but fairly certain we're not going to get magic shields. Now, meanwhile, we have made our way into what we know as level 7. And walking into that room on the right and immediately getting sniped by a gorilla. So we are going to continue on here in the fully lime green level 7. Now, let's see what Dr. Jason Kimball decides he's going to do here. Opts to go up instead. Still, his tracker is not going to be able to tell what's going on, but he is going to put Lord Banana to more use here. Meanwhile, over on the other side of things, Mike Stone picking up a timely clock in the fireball room. So that's just going to allow him to stand in the face of all of these Wizrobes and like-likes and just stab away until his heart is content.
Now, it is important to note that the runners have started exhausting a lot of the locations on the overworld, and we still have yet to find levels 3, 5, and 6, so there's a very good possibility that we may be seeing either the raft or the power bracelet required in this seed.
Absolutely. And meanwhile, over on Mike Stone's side of Hyrule, he is going to pick up the shiny triangle over in level 2, and that's going to be the first Triforce for him. Mike opting to go back in. I can't. The only thing he could be looking for is the heart container. I think, unless he's trying to find the hint for 3, which we know it can't have because we've already seen the old man.
Possibly is looking for the heart just because he has cleared out so much of the dungeon already. He knows he's limited in the rooms that could be left for it. And he is at 8 hearts, so he may be trying to get up there for Magic Sword.
True, but he's already been in the room with the heart container because we know it's the desert on the far left part of the bottom of the moon. So anyway, back while Mike Stone is currently stabbing the crap out of pancakes, we see DJK making his way through more of level 7.
He probably is searching further in 7 because of where we are and all the items we have yet to see and acquire. So he is probably searching for item, which actually is not a bad decision on his part, just because of how much is still out there to find. He's probably figuring he may need power bracelet or raft, so he's hoping to get either that, bow, or ladder at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And considering we've seen the staircases now, we now know what we're looking for in 7 for our room to get our item, because 7 has 3 staircase rooms, and there are 2 diamonds and a reverse C.
Unfortunately, gets sniped by the gorilla.
Now going to be making his way into the black room here, and more than likely probably going to kill and go up again and not take the stairs this time, because if he was going to go left here, he would just have popped the key already and not worried about killing the keys.
Killing the Stalfos, trying to probably grab a heart if he could have in his progression, just to avoid another snipe.
Yeah, let's just be thankful this isn't the second quest, Stalfos, and Mike Stone finally acquiring a white sword. Meanwhile, DJK opting to take out the ever deadly coin or rupee boss, and its reward is the heart container. So all this talk about deserts for all of you people in Inland Coast, California, you can see Mike Stone walking through one right now as DJK is in this grid pattern room killing himself a bunch of skeletons here.
Does manage to get a fairy and a heart drop, so in a lot better shape health-wise to avoid Guerrilla snipes and collect some bombs as well, which are always good to have in level 7.
Meanwhile, we have Mike Stone back into this ice blue color palette dungeon. I believe we saw him here earlier.
I'm not sure, but this is level 5, so once again, Randomizer doing its job by putting level 5 at level 5.
I gotta love that. So that's 2 dungeons in their same locations here. And no, it wasn't, because you thought 7 was 5 earlier, I think is what it was. That's
Correct.
what it was. I was a little... See, we're getting all confused here. It's late night for us on the East Coast. You're going to have to forgive us. Okay, you really just forgive Krim. I'm pretty much unforgivable, so at least just forgive Krim.
DJK does grab the compass, so he does know the location of the Triforce now in a room that he has yet to have checked. Does have quite a bit of the dungeon still to clear to find the item as well. Has, from what I see, about 10 rooms left. So, see if he decides to continue to search for the item or just grab the Triforce and get out of here.
Now, it looks like he is going to be opting to pick up the Triforce here. Now, the one thing that we know, based on the way he's bombing, is the last room on the bottom row there to the left. He has the potential to bomb into that. So I would probably go back in and waste the bomb to check on that, but that's just me. He's choosing not to and taking the gamble that he's not going to need anything from 7. Now, as we learned from the last match here, taking a gamble on not needing things can work out in your favor, and it cannot work out in your favor. Speaking of finding Triforce Sorter, Mike Stone has found the Triforce in level 5. And DJK opting, since he's right here, to take his 20% gamble on the Magic Sword, because the Magic Sword normally is 12 hearts and it is plus or minus 2. And oh, look at that! We've got a 10-heart Magic Sword.
After a lot of the seeds, and yes, DJK gives a nice fist pump with that sword grab. After the siege yesterday, a nice cheap magic sword is always good to have.
So yes, the 10-heart Magic Sword, with all of the quote-unquote good items still missing in action here, to get the cheap magical sword has got to be huge for DJK. Now, seeing if the stairs were there, and now he's also going to be entering into Vanilla 5 at 5, and his tracker immediately picks it up because it's the only dungeon with that start screen on the far right. So, of course, as you can see, Mike Stone is currently making his way through 5, attempting to acquire the item. And I definitely don't blame him at this point, because we're still missing an absolute ton of items from this seed. Meanwhile, DJK has found the Diamond Staircase, so he's going to be making his way into that. Finds out that it is just a stairway. It doesn't take him anywhere he wants to go, so he is instead going to say, nope, I'm out of here. And now he's going to make his way into this parallel blocks room, where it's just going to have a Goma, and if you can see the message, apparently Saber is already in 9. However, Mike Stone has found the single block room here, and he has found himself an item which is going to be, ooh, that's a good one to find. We got the red ring, so that's going to be, Mike's definitely going to be happy about coming back and finding the red ring. However, again, it's not one of the items that we absolutely need.
Now, with him skipping 7, there's a good chance that DJK does choose to look for the item here, or actually is heading back down towards the Triforce, so he may gamble on not looking for the item here as well, which may be an interesting case later on. So we'll see what he decides to do once he picks up his shiny triangle.
It doesn't force silver arrows and magical key into 9 yet. We still don't know the location of the inferior boomerang. And DJK does, in fact, opt to go back into 5 to look for the item. Again, he is going to be happy about the red ring, but also probably disappointed that it's not ladder, recorder, power bracelet, etc., etc. Meanwhile, we have a Triforce Git over on MikeStone's side of the world.
That's his level 8 Triforce re-entered. He may choose to go back in because there are indeed 2 items in there, and we know that there's not a lot of items that out there, or not a lot of locations out there for things like the bow and the ladder.
All right, so absolutely, 8's going to probably be the next destination on both runners' hit lists once, of course, DJK gets out of 5 with the red ring, because having 2 items, there's basically a 100% chance that we're going to find something good here. Thankfully, Mike Stone not Dig Dogger blocked in that room because he can just bomb out. And unfortunately is going to be bombing right into an old man, which is going to be asking him which timeline that we're on, and step over the water to reach the wand. The one hint we didn't need to see because we've already known that the wand is the ladder item here.
Now, to answer the old man's question, we are indeed on the hero fails timeline.
See, the funny thing about that is there was never supposed to be a timeline for Zelda. It was supposed to be 2 games paired together. So Zelda 1 and Zelda 2 paired together. Link to the Past and Link's Awakening paired together. Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask paired together. And Miyamoto has come out and said this. It was just Nintendo that decided to put together the timelines. As much as I know about, reading all the timeline information from when I was doing commentary for other tournaments, there wasn't actually supposed to be a timeline.
So we just learned from Mike Stone's side that the staircase is indeed required in level 8 because he can now bomb out of that room.
Yep, this is the room where DJK appeared and got immediately sniped. Mike Stone going to fare a little better, having access to, of course, the stylish red tunic. And we're going to take a look in here and find the compass. Not that he, realizing halfway through, wait, I've already got the Triforce here. I don't need this.
Meanwhile, DJK does enter the item room in 5. Will be kind of happy, kind of upset to find the red ring. Nice to have, but not what he needed.
Yeah, walked in, get the subtle head nod. I'm like, yeah, I'm okay with this. Meanwhile, Mike Stone finding that he has a Chevy room that he can't get through utilizing the ladder. or without utilizing the ladder, excuse me. So opting to try to bomb right here. Looks like he's going to try and have to kill these Lanmolas here.
Now, with the White Sword, each Landmola section would die with a swing, but they are so fast and can really get on you really quick with a half a heart. I don't blame him for not choosing to cross paths with them.
Yeah, this 8 super trolly there. Mike Stone opting to nope out of it, and I'm not sure if I like that call or not. I mean, it's not a bad decision because of the Wizrobe and the trolliness of it, but at this point, there's so few options left available. I mean,
yeah, with Red Tunic, my personal call there would have been to try to take out the Wizrobes on the other side of the staircase and see what was north, see if I could get around that way. But may choose to come back with either another heart or possibly mags if he can get it.
Yeah, meanwhile, speaking of hearts, another heart or two and mags, DJK opting to take a quick stop off at the fairy fountain in the Dead Woods, and he is going to screen scroll his way over to level 8 with, we have 11 hearts, red ring, and magical sword. Meanwhile, Mike Stone opting to go and check out level 4.
Now we should see a lot more of 8 in DJK's run through because he does also have mags, so Wizrobe's a lot easier for him.
All right, and real quick, Z-Man, why DJK fairy and up 8 is because the way the game works is if you up A while your life is still being refilled by the fairy, when you respawn, you only have your 3 hearts left. You will still be in the process of getting your health refilled. So by up Aing at a fairy, you get a full health restore. Meanwhile, we are going to have to up A out of the Dig Dogger room here over on DJK's side because without a recorder, we can't actually kill it. Meanwhile, Mike Stone did acquire the Triforce in 4, and he's more than likely going to go right back in. Yep, went right back in to see what else 4 holds. Now, hopefully we find something good in here and not just the last of the trolley items. Meanwhile, you have DJK opting to run around like a spastic chicken here in this Wizrobe room, dodging all the magic and the bubbles. That's a really difficult room, not gonna lie.
Now, it is important to remember that while we see Mike Stone search 4, that DJK did choose to not re-enter 4, so his item is still sitting in there. If it happens to be something like the ladder or the bow, that could be a costly backtrack if he obtains a lot of other items that he needs before then, before he figures out that it is located there.
Meanwhile, thankfully, this Dig Dogger room here, we don't necessarily need to do anything in said Dig Dogger room because it is what it is. Unfortunately, Mike Stone finding a double block room that's got a shutter door that has to open, so that's not going to be the item room. Meanwhile, we do have an item room over on DJK's side of things, which is interesting because it's a room that Mike Stone did have access to, just I don't think bombed over here.
That is correct. He did not make any bombs.
And magical key. So this now by default, because of what we know now in items, we know we still have to find the raft, the recorder, the power bracelet, the bow, and the ladder. None of those items can be in 9, so we still have the items in 3, 4, 6, 7, and the second item in 8 to find. So by default, we now know silver arrows and magical boomerang are in 9.
And in 4, we find the power bracelet, which could very well still be required. So we'll see if getting that pays off and how much DJK will have to backtrack for it.
DJK, meanwhile, picking up the compass, so he knows he's just a quick up A away from the Triforce here in 8, but he is going to opt to continue his exploration and attempt to find a second item here, which is at this point the definite right call. Now, of course, knowing where we are going to get ladder blocked again.
Does die to the Lamolas before he can clear out the room. But knowing the path that both runners have taken, we know that the ladder will not be an 8 due to the fact that all their progress is being blocked by that Chevy room.
Well, not entirely all their progress yet, because we still have these 2 rooms left to say, but yeah, we're effectively ladder blocked here. And meanwhile, we have found another dungeon here over on Mike Stone's side of things, and this is 3. So DJK going to pick up the Triforce here and be all good with that. And unfortunately, as we said, we are ladder blocked here in 8. So now Mike Stone making his way over through 3 now. Since I always get yelled at whenever I use my own nicknames to the color palettes, I'm just going to ask Prim, what's this color palette supposed to be emulating?
This is actually the Spirit Temple. At least that's what was intended when we designed it, so that's what we go with.
Fair enough. Meanwhile, DJK opting to go back into 8 again, because he does have the potential to bomb up. I think he's only got one other room he can check here, I think. So I'm slightly confused as to what's going on here.
May just be hoping that that last room is the second item room.
Although, speaking of item rooms, over on Mike Stone's side of things, we have finally found the ladder, which is power bracelet blocked.
So this could get very trolly very quickly for DJK, because we know that he skipped the item in 4, which was the power bracelet. So in order to get to the ladder, he has to return to 4 first.
So at this point, I think DJK is realizing he is ladder blocked out of 8. He just has to attempt to bomb to the right here in this Landmola room. And once he sees he cannot do that, and cannot bomb right in the room below, he is going to be having to up A out of here. Meanwhile, Mike Stone has acquired his shiny triangle from level 3, and he is on his way.
Now, while trekking through, it will be interesting to see if Mike chooses to head back to the northeast to try for mags. We do know from our information with DJK that he does have enough for mags at the current time.
And look at that, we have found the last dungeon. Again, so apparently I'm a curse on these seeds, because this is the 3rd match I've called for this tournament. And this is the 3rd match in a row where we've had 2 dungeons in power bracelet spots.
Now, by default, we do know this is level 6.
Meanwhile, we do have DJK over in 4, and he is going to be making his way here to acquire the power bracelet.
Good decision by him to return here. Probably exhausted all other options and said, I gotta return there, because The other two levels I need are being either power boosted or wrath blocked.
Yep, so now that we have made our way back into 4 past where the Triforce was, DJK is going to be looking for the double block room. Meanwhile, pretty easy Triforce location in 6 there for Mike Stone, but there is no way he's not going back in at this point because of the way this seed has been behaving. You have to know he's just like, yep, yeah, there's something in here, something more than likely worth it at this point. I got to go and get it. At this point, Kid Kim, Mike Stone is winning on the fact of he has found the power bracelet, which has led him to the ladder. So that is why he is currently winning. It's honestly a wide margin because he still hasn't found level 1, which DJK has. And I can see on DJK's side of things that he has got 6 Triforces. So that definitely doesn't put Mike Stone in a much of a lead, but it puts him in a lead because of items. And that's the nature of a randomizer style race here. Unlike, in a category like an any percent or 100% where you can tell who's in the lead based on what they've got and where they are, you can't really give an exact who's in the lead based off of locations because randomizer is so variable.
It is also important to note that our always trolley level 9s, we do have the great possibility for even more trolliness because we are looking for a third additional condition in there, which is the silver arrows.
Yeah, absolutely. So meanwhile, we have Mike Stone making his way through level 6 again. And here's the thing with 6 is, at this point, seeing a Dark Nut set in level 6, not the worst thing that Mike could have absolutely found here. Definitely the worst thing would be Wizrobes like in the vanilla game. Meanwhile, we have back to our levels of sync that we had earlier because we have got both runners in level 6.
Now, in level 6, Mike might be at a slight advantage because there is potential for a ladder block, and we all know that Mike has the ladder, and DJK does not at this moment.
Yep, and at this point, there is a fairly good chance, actually, there is a guaranteed chance that we're going back into at least one of the dungeons we've seen on DJK's side of things, either 7 or 8, to pick up something that we're going to quote-unquote need. Because unless the bow is hiding here in 6, then... We are getting the high five there as both of them are here in the corridor staircase room in 6. So we now know that we've seen the single block room and the corridor room for the 2 so far. So we now know the room that we are looking for here in 6 to find the item is a double block room. And we got Troll Bunny.
Now, we do also know from Mike earlier that the double block room that DJK just passed through was not the item room. He knows that because of the shutter door, but he will have to re-clear that room to get back north anyway.
Mike, meanwhile, hoping he can utilize his bombs as opposed to his key to make his way further into the dungeon, and he is going to be able to do that. That is an advantage that DJK does have here because he has the any key. Any key was one of the 2 items in 8, DW.
Another advantage that DJK has going through the room that we're seeing Mike in right now is he does have the magical sword, which instead of all the hits with the white sword that Mike has to use, it only requires 3. So 5 compared to 3 will make a lot, or 3 compared to 5 will make a lot quicker work of that room.
Unfortunately, or fortunately for Mike, he gets the level 7 hint, which he already knew where it was. Unfortunately, it's the hint of where it is and not what item Gorilla grumbles with. However, speaking of items, this looks like it could have some, wonderful fruits of our battling. And we have finally found the item room, and drumroll please, we have found the bow! That is huge.
Good decision by both racers to hunt here. Obviously, they're going to want to, being so deep into the game and still needing the bow. So DJK getting into that room as well, and we'll quickly find it as well.
So now DJK is going to up A and re-enter to go and acquire the Triforce. Meanwhile, Mike Stone is still looking for level 1, if I recall correctly. He still has not found 1. But he is going to be pleasantly surprised here when he goes to attempt to obtain the magical sword here, and does in fact get it with his measly, I say measly, little 10 hearts.
Now, with the acquisition of the bow, we know the last 2 items, which are located in 7 and the other item in 8, are the raft and the recorder. So with DJK only needing the Triforce from 3, and 3 being a simple dungeon to clear, he will be glad to find the ladder there, and will know that he doesn't have to go back into 7 or 8 for any more item hunting.
Meanwhile, for Mike Stone, he is making his way back into level 8. Now having the ladder, he's going to be looking for the 2 items here. Also managed to basically playing a little bit of ring around the rosy here with these whiz robes. And whiz robes so far coming out on the better end of the game attack.
Now there, DJK opted to take the heart over the potion. I personally would have taken the potion already having mags, but may believe that his fighting ability with the whiz robes and cannon might be well enough, just be better off with the extra heart.
And now at this point, he is going to find himself level 3, gives himself the nice reassuring nod and being all happy. So gonna find the compass real quick, but he knows that he is gonna have to search through here to locate the item, which he's going to be very, very pleased to know is, in fact, the ladder. Meanwhile, Blue Land Mole is doing what Blue Land Moles do, inviting Mike Stone to a hypersonic dance party, and then saying, well, you can't keep up, we're going to make you trip and fall and I'll fire on your face, and that means we're going to have to hit the game over button for Mike Stone and start again from the beginning of the dungeon.
DJK did bypass the Triforce to temporarily look for the item, which is the given move here.
Oh, absolutely. Of the 3 dungeons he's got left to search for items, 3 is the infinitely easier one to clear as opposed to the 33 rooms in 7. Although, to be fair, he's only got 10 rooms left to clear of that 7.
Finds the heart as well, so he's rich in his health now. We'll find out that the item is not on this side, so may just go back, grab the Triforce, and re-enter.
And that's exactly what he is going to be opting to do here. So for those of you who were playing along at home, here is the quick recap of our items. Red Candle and Book were in level 1, Lord Banana was in level 2, Ladder is in level 3, Power Bracelet was in level 4, Red Ring in level 5, Bow in level 6, Recorder or Raft in level 7, Magic Key and Recorder or Raft in level 8. Can it be confirmed now that Recorder is in 7 and Raft in 8, as Mike Stone just found the Raft over in level 8. Heart Container was the Armos item, Wand was the ladder item on the coast, which means by default silver arrows and inferior model are in 9. And with that, DJK is more than likely going to be up Aing, and since he's literally right next to a fairy fountain, probably making a quick stop on his way to 9, or not. Interesting.
Now, as Ampharos noted in chat, he does have letter and surplus of rupees, so he may choose to pick up a potion.
Why is he going back into 8?
Possibly hasn't figured out that the last 2 items in 7 and 8 are required to be Recorder and Raft.
That's very interesting. That's very, very interesting that he's opting to go back into 8 here, as opposed to taking the gamble in 9. Now, as we can see, Mike Stone still looking for the second item here in 8, hoping and praying that it is going to be the silver arrows. We know it's not. But Mike, because he hasn't seen the magical key yet here, cannot deduce the same thing that we have about the items. Because, again, locations of items, certain items just can't be in 9. So I do find it interesting that DJK opted to go back into 8 here when he should know what he is getting himself into.
Well, he does find the item, so we'll know it is Raft. Decides to pick it up, and I wonder if we are going to see him go back into 7 with only 10 rooms to clear, possibly thinking silver arrows may be in there, or if he will just choose to go to the fairy fountain and then head over to 9.
I think the best bet at this point is to go to the fairy fountain, up A, and then just head to 9 on the coast, because he has to know at this point the Recorder is the only item left to find, and yeah. Meanwhile, Mike Stone, after getting the magical key and the excuse me, and the raft, that's the word I'm looking for, going to be up Aing out here, and he still needs to get the Triforce out of 7 plus find level 1. Meanwhile, DJK stopping at the edge of the staircase here and trying to figure out which any road he wants to take, but by taking the any roads here, he's getting himself up into the Lost Hills, which means he's going back into 7?
It appears to be so. Not sure why he is doing this, and unless he is just confused, but yeah, he should be heading to 9 at this point.
Yeah, but here's the question, and because he was there watching the last race with Cantaloupe and Chuck, do you think that seeing what happened in that race is making him second guess what he knows and making him go back into all of these rooms?
That is the only possibility. Not running Randomizer for a little bit. It might also be noted that DJK does not realize that Recorder cannot be in 9. So that's the only other possibility. And without that knowledge, the fear of the silver arrows being in 7 and have to exit 9 and then re-enter is just sitting with him right now.
Meanwhile, Mike Stone making his way back into 2 of all things. I'm confused as to why he's going back into 2, unless he's just looking for hearts at this point. But I'm severely confused as to what's going on right now on both sides of my stream.
Looks like he may be trying to re-exit to now. Which, with only 1 heart north of the starting amount, or no, continues to search to. Odd decisions.
Yeah. Realizing it's just Lord Banana again, opting to not waste a bomb this time, and now he's going to get the heck up out of dodge here. I think he is just as confused as we are here. Meanwhile, DJK opting to try and find his way through 7 here again. We now can confirm we have a total of 6 rooms left that could possibly hold the recorder. It's literally a 3-2-1 pattern up on the upper left here of the demon.
Seems both players are currently playing as if they want anything within their will for silver arrows not to be in 9.
Yeah, well, Mike has to go back to 7 anyway because he still needs the Triforce out of it. So Mike going back into 7 isn't a surprise at all because he still needs the triangle out of it. DJK going back to 7, however, this is the surprising part of this because like I said, we know what's in here, so. Yeah, I definitely think that last race made them paranoid here.
Now down to 3 rooms left.
But as we can see on both sides of the screen, there ain't no party like a Goma party because the Goma party don't stop.
And now a full clear 7 for DJK to realize that these silver arrows are indeed not in 7. And Fred's sanity checks do work.